We're not, Josh.
Hey,
That
wait, Dan,
that is true.
we need to get that on recording, Dan. Can you say that?
I know. Okay.
Can we
Okay.
say that again?
Okay, Donnie, you're going to tell your best Josh Curcio story. My best Josh Curcio story is we were doing a presentation at this inbound conference, right, in front of thousands of people. And I'm like, Josh, I need a favor. He's like, what do you need, Tyre? I'm like, I need you to cold call in front of 400 people. Nothing. And then he's like, okay, I'm in. Right. And I'm like, really? And he sat on a stool and he did it. And it was flawless. What year was that, Josh?
I was trying to think about what year that was. I'm going to say 2018, maybe 2017. It's been a while.
And if you Google Dan Tyre, you'll see me sometimes dressed in a lion costume, which is both weird as well as hot. When you're on stage and there's like Klieg lights on you and you're a lion costume, it had a tail and everything. But Josh stole the show. It was so much fun. It was amazing. And so I've been indebted to him ever since. He's a mountain biker. He's a great digital marketing person. He bleeds manufacturing. I don't know what color that is, right? But he like knows manufacturing and industrial, and it's super fun to like work with him. And I'm really excited about. Does it sound like I'm excited?
Well, Dan, you sound excited. So why don't we do an intro since we're at time and everybody's rolling in. So guys, welcome. Happy Thursday. Happy Friday Eve. Super excited to have everybody in here today. My name's Curt Anderson. What an honor and privilege today to introduce two of my dear friends. I'm going to start with my good buddy, Josh Curcio. Josh with Protocol 80, fierce marketer for manufacturers. That's who Dan was just ranting and raving about. He's a wonderful father, just a good dude all around. Josh, happy Thursday. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you, Curt? Thank you for having us. Thanks for Purdue for hosting us today, the Purdue MEP.
Oh, we got a bunch of MEPs. We have 10 MEPs that are sponsoring us today. We have the National Tooling and Machining Association, my friends from Nebraska MEP. So welcome to the program. And do me a favor, guys. You know, if we were in person, we'd be high-fiving, we'd be, handing out business cards or LinkedIn and all that stuff. Drop your LinkedIn profile in the chat box, if you would, please. Great opportunity to connect with some new friends. Man, Josh, you were just saying like, hey, you just landed a new lead. So this is a great opportunity. Your next best customer might be right here sitting next to you. So with that being said, we have two Josh Curcios. I'm going to introduce Josh Curcio number 2. So this handsome devil here, Dan Tyre. Dan is a HubSpotter, investor, keynote speaker, wrote a wonderful, incredible book. And now, Dan, to my understanding, you were employee number what at HubSpot?
6, employee number 6. I'm ex-HubSpot. I'm the best alumnus ever. Right?
Best alumnus ever.
Yeah. JD Sherman and Brad Coffey are going down. Not that I'm competitive or anything, right? And I was there for 17 years. Put in the chat pane if you've worked for the same company for 17 years, right? Like in any other like venue, I get 0. I bet you there's somebody here who's worked for the same company for 17 years.
Well, let's find anybody 17 years.
Donnie,
Joe,
22 years. I knew it. Donnie, 22 years. All right. I owe you a breakfast sandwich.
Hey, Robert's 20 plus. Chad's 18.
Amazing. Joe, how many?
24.
24.
Okay.
That was at Joe's previous company. So,
okay. Joe, you put your email in the chat pane and I'll buy you a breakfast sandwich. Right? Because people do anything. Do you like breakfast sandwiches? I probably should ask for that first.
Hey,
McGriddles. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to send you a Starbucks gift card because it's easy. And my executive assistant, Kira, will do that. But check your spam filter. It's either from Dan@dantyre.com or Kira@dantyre.com. $5, 24 years. Okay. That's unprecedented in the modern economy. Incredible. You'd think you'd like tick off somebody in those 24 years, unless you own the company. Do you own the company?
I did not. They kind of ticked me off, and that's why I left. And then I found this gig and I've been in this gig for about 8 years now. October.
Okay, that tells me you're smart. That tells me that you're loyal. That tells me that you can move with the times. Because one of the things we're going to talk about today is that things in 2024 are different. Put in the chat pane if you think things in 2024 are different. Yes, different, no different. As you can tell, I'm a big interactive kind of person, and I don't want to do all the work myself. If you're an introvert, this is going to be a very hard next 15 minutes, right? Because and I will let Josh talk because he actually knows what he's talking about. Very different. Yeah, I know Atlanta.
Yes.
Amazing. Yes. Way different, says Tony. Tony, come off mute and tell me how it's different in 2024.
Oh, I mean, everything, especially in the manufacturing space, the way people buy, the way teams interact with their clients. It's completely changed, I believe, since COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I learned at 17 years at HubSpot is I used to know how to do things, and I became a learn-it-all, right? And you know the know-it-alls, people, this is the way to do it, and that doesn't work in the modern economy. Being a learn-it-all, you have to really understand the change. Josh, I've heard you talk about this multiple times in the migration into the digital economy. Give us a couple of reasons how things have changed in 2024 and how you look at generating new business in the modern era.
Yeah, I think it's been changing, and more than ever, people are armed with their own information. Like, they can find whatever it is that they need, and they can research whatever it is they need. The salesperson is there to be almost like a concierge, to help progress things along. I'm not saying salespeople don't need to exist. They absolutely do, especially in manufacturing, when things are complex, and eventually you get to that point where you need to bring that person that understands it in. But the early stages of that, people are able to do that research on their own. They don't want people necessarily stopping by the facility and just coming in the front door. Nobody wants to engage like that anymore. It's interactive. And that's not going to stop. I don't see that stopping in 2025, 2026. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Or toss out any other changes that you have. You guys are on the front line, men and women on the front line. Any other things that pop to mind about post global pandemic kind of sales and marketing or growth? Do you guys know the term schmarketing? Sanjay, come off mute and say schmarketing. Come on. You know how to say it. Quick.
Marketing.
Yeah, say it. Okay, say it again.
Marketing.
Okay, I invented that term. That's why I wanted Sanjay to do it. And Sanjay and I worked together for 7 years, and an amazing person who has an amazing software company in South Bend, Indiana. Schmarketing isn't smart marketing. It's sales and marketing squished together. And in the old days, right, Curt, you'll remember this, right? In the old days, marketing and sales were always at each other's throat, right? It wasn't a good relationship because sales always used marketing as a excuse, right? Either I didn't have enough leads, so I couldn't hit my number, or I had too many leads and I didn't know which ones to call. Anybody feel like that? Is that like the old version of sales and marketing? Josh, you agree?
I agree.
Okay. And what is it now? Schmarketing is sales and marketing aligned. It's just because of the reason that Josh said. Put in the chat pane, what percentage of a sales process a prospect goes through before they want to talk to a salesperson? This is a very interesting statistic. Put in the chat pane the percentage of a sales process. It's kind of a hard question to ask, but this whole sales process is 100%, right? Tony says 80. Now everybody, you got to lag a little bit, Josh, because you're an expert at this, and everybody's going to put in 85 now. Right. It depends a little bit on the industry. We should go in and get the manufacturing and industrial kind of thing, but it's pretty close. It's all the way at the end, right? Today, people want to self-serve themselves because all the information should be on the website. This is kind of an interesting story. In 2016, I was giving a speech in the Orange County, California. Anybody from Orange County, California? Newport Beach, I think it was. Anyway, I was presenting to the National Association of Tool and Die, and it was all people like you, right? Amazing manufacturing folks who had manufacturing shops. I was trying to explain inbound and sales and marketing process, and they weren't quite getting it. So I asked, do you like to give walks through your manufacturing facility? And put in the chat pane if you like prospects to walk through your manufacturing facility. Yes? Facility, no facility. I'll pause for 20 seconds just to see the audience reaction. Come on, Robert, let's go. Come on, Clay. Yes. Why, Robert? Come off mute and tell me why you like people to walk through your facility. And then I'm calling on you, Atlanta, because you got the right answer. Come on, Robert, you're still on mute. You got to touch the little mute button unless... there we go. Why do you like people walking through your facility?
in our experience, being a small family business like we are, it shows our customers how involved all of our key employees are through every process that we do, whether it be in the front end with laser cutting or punching, in the middle of the departments where we're doing all of our bending, and then the final operations in terms of hardware assembly, welding, spot welding. But it shows that we have a tight niche group of employees and the long tenure that we have, and it shows how involved ownership and management are and how in tune we are with our employees.
Amazing. And Atlanta, come off mute and tell us what you just put in the chat.
Absolutely. It's a commitment to our relationship. By the time they do a tour of our plant, we've already had many interactions with them. But one thing that we've noticed is once they meet our team and walk through our place, it's very concrete, and they know how seriously we take it. They can see our level of professionalism, the cleanliness of our plant. We always get compliments on that. It's as if they expected it to be dirty. And it was neat and orderly and safety focused. And they realized that we'll care for their product, their parts, the way that we care for our facilities and our employees.
Amazing. So when I was giving this speech, that's exactly what I said. Do you like people going through tours? And they go, yes. I'm like, okay, well, you have to start that process 3 years before they're ready to take the walkthrough. And you have to have a button. Curt asked me to not be fluffy. He goes, get right to the meat, Tyre. We want actionable kind of things. And the first thing is, if you don't have a call to action on your website that says, want a walkthrough of our facility, please contact, not a contact us button. The contact us button is like something different, right? Walkthroughs given every Tuesday. And if you can get somebody even 2 years before they work with it, it's so much pride, Atlanta. Exactly what Rob said, right? And if you don't know how to put a CTA, they call it a call to action, call Josh, right? Josh is an expert on call to action. And calls to action used to be contact us. Today it's walk through our facility. Right? Understand a little bit about manufacturing in 2024. Figure out lead times for 2025. There's so many things that you can do that people will start that relationship, which, by the way, is the hardest thing in any sales process, especially manufacturing, because there's a lot to choose from, right? And we try to get that like human process out very early. I wrote a book about that called The Inbound Organization. And it talks about the modern sales and marketing process to grow.
Yeah, I love walking through and doing manufacturing facility tours. It's like one of my favorite things working in the manufacturing space. One of the things that's clear, as Atlanta mentioned, like your plan is clean, and that shows when you have a prospect walking through. You can tell manufacturers that have everything together, that have those processes, that take pride in what they do. It really shows in that tour. To Dan's point of adding a call to action, one of the things that we've seen being helpful in the lead gen perspective is instead of the contact us, a lot of times we hear that manufacturers want to bring prospects in at the engineering stage as opposed to the buying stage. So if you can get them to engage with your engineering team, like do like an ask an engineer, or meet with a design engineer or something like that. It's a much softer ask than contact. It's like, hey, I'm able to meet with a design engineer that's an expert in XYZ industry. I'm going to take advantage of that because I know I'm designing something for that industry. Softer ask, maybe it's still 2 years down the road, but now they're engaging earlier in the process as opposed to talking to just a buyer.
All right, that's brilliant. And that's concrete. And the marketing kind of advice is you should have 2 of those calls to action on every page of your website, right? If you're blogging, put in the chat pane if you blog or have a YouTube channel, right? Blog or YouTube channel or some way that you publish new content to your people or your prospects or something like that. Atlanta's nodding. Put in the chat pane if there's, of course, says Josh. Yeah, I know Josh is an expert in blogging. Anyway, some people say I'm not a particularly good writer, which you don't have to be. Number two, all the questions that people ask you on a regular basis about cleanliness, about engineers, about the size of orders, about lead times, about all of those kind of things. Those are all blog articles. The three things that you need to understand for lead times in the modern world: how to start a relationship with a tool and die organization, the way to work with a primary manufacturer and a secondary manufacturer. They're all things that you answer every day, and you put that in a blog article. Right? You can go to Gemini or ChatGPT if you're not a good writer and just say, rewrite this, or put in three things and it will write it. Amazing in the AI age, right? And then you put that on the blog. There's a couple of benefits of putting new content on the blog. Josh, you're an expert on this. What is the benefit of publishing new content on a blog?
Gosh, so many benefits. If I could name one, it's getting more eyes on your brand and on your website, because the content that is going there is educational, helpful content that people are looking for. It's my, I guess, number one reason. Bunch of benefits though.
Okay, so visibility is number one. Number two, you can curate those blog articles and put in what's called keywords. Put in the chat pane if you know keywords. I'm assuming you all do. You may not know the term long tail keywords. Yes, long tail, no long tail, right? This is important because we want to deliver information that's appropriate to this group. Got 25 people here or so. And long tail keywords is where it's at. Josh, you want to explain the difference between keywords and long tail keywords?
Yeah, so a short tail or a broad keyword might be metal stamping. Very broad, tons of metal stampers out there. But if you are a manufacturer that's very good at metal stamping for a specific application, the metal stamping for XYZ application is the long tail version of that keyword. Significantly easier to rank for and be competitive online for. And it's so much more focused to your target prospects as opposed to just metal stamping.
Yeah, metal stamping, Ohio, metal stamping with the zip code on it, right? If somebody's coming in from Tokyo and wants to manufacture here in the United States, has no idea who to start with, right? Those long tail keywords, they're only searched 2 or 3 times a month, but they're exactly what you want. And we don't want you to pay from Google. Is anybody from Google here? Wouldn't be good if there was. All right. We want them to get organic. When you Google something, there's the sponsored ads up top, right? And then below that is the organic stuff. That's free, right? Google makes $2 billion a month in post-tax profit. It's a diamond mine in the basement. It's the most amazing thing because you have to auction against all the other folks who want those keywords. But the long tail keywords are more valuable than the other ones, right? Because the long tail keywords are only searched a few, but they're looking for it, right? And you want to connect with those people. All right. So now, so far, we're only 18 minutes in, but we got 3 important non-fluff points. Number one, you have to have a CTA, right? Specifically, let's get one for your plant walkthrough, which I love. A great idea. Number two, I want multiple CTAs on every page, right? And I want them to be tricked out, not just contact us, sign up for our email list, our newsletter. Those are good, but they're not kind of exciting. Josh had some good ones. And then the blog part or a YouTube channel, right? If you're a HubSpot user, you can actually have the blog be read to your customers. There's now a thing called narration, right? Where it's not my voice, which I'm sure you guys are happy about, but it's like the blog will read it to you. Welcome to the AI world. And then I want a call to action in the third paragraph of that blog article, because put in the chat pane the percentage of people who read an entire blog article. What is the percentage of people? I was just in Tel Aviv, Israel, and they asked me to speak on attention span, right? Which I'm basically a 9-year-old, so I'm perfect to speak on attention span, right? 3% says Joy. Pretty close. Virtually no one finishes an entire blog article. They read the first paragraph. They go, this is interesting. I want to talk to that guy, Josh, right? If you have a little picture of Josh, right, with his scruffy beard and his bald head riding a motorbike, right, then that's kind of human. That's kind of interesting. You're like, I wonder if that's the real Josh or that's a Josh impersonator, right? And you'll click on it. You'll get that lead, right? And then the process of working with sales and marketing so that you're being human, you're being professional, and you do what you people do the best is like, just be nice, just be helpful, just show people that you're interested in working with them and you don't care if it's immediate. It'd be nice if it's immediate. And sometimes they're like, okay, my supplier can't do it, right? I need somebody now. And sometimes you're building that relationship over time, which like is equally important if you're in it for long.
One of the interesting things you mentioned there, Dan, was how few people are reading through blog posts, which, you know, you might have a blog post that's 300 to 500 words, but one of the strategies that we've seen be very effective is using pillar content. And a pillar content piece might be 5,000 words, which you can imagine not everyone's going to want to sit there and read a novel on a website page, but a great resource for lead gen, or a great way to drive a lead from that, is to say, hey, here's a valuable piece of content, a ton of information for you, everything you want to know about this topic, take it with you. I'll send it to your email address. So having that call to action that's like, I want this PDF version of this 5,000 word thing so I could pass it along to my engineering team, to my buying team, to my CEO, whoever it may be. Great opportunity for lead gen. Because, like I said, nobody's going to want to sit there and read all 5,000 words of a pillar strategy.
All right, Katie Smith. Katie, are you comfortable coming off mute and like just saying what you just put in the chat pane? Because I'm gonna like cry. Amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So one of my clients is a metal manufacturer, and mostly our clientele is contractors. That's who we want to work with. So we use blogging, and we use it for multiple ways. So one of my main things that I always say is, if you're going to create content, make sure you can use it 6 ways, 7 ways, 8 ways, always repurpose it. So we decided we want to focus on blogging. We have a great writer, and the writer interviews our guys with all the knowledge. They do the SEO. They create really high quality blogs, and then we repurpose them. We use them for social media. Our sales team can use them for touch points when they're talking to people. You know, like you said before, people want to get so much farther down the marketing journey before they even want to talk to a sales rep. So we have so much content on our website. People can browse, people can read, gain trust. So the blogs have really been one of our main anchor points. They really help with our advertising budget, and you know, we use that. We direct people with our ads to these very targeted blogs. So it's been a huge success for us.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that with the group. And that's the way it works, right? That's the inbound revolution that started 18 years ago and is now in full swing in the modern era. All right, we have some prepared information, which we haven't gotten to yet, but I'm happy to do it, around sales and what's changed in the modern era. But does anybody have a question? I'd like to get to the Q&A thing quick. I was just in Latvia. Anybody know where Latvia is? Put in the chat pane if you know Latvia. There's another breakfast sandwich. If you know, no Google. Don't be Googling it there, Josh. I saw that hand movement, right? Latvia. Where do you know Latvia? Lady calls me up because I want you to speak in Latvia. I'm like, where is Latvia exactly? She goes, it's next to Estonia. I'm like, okay, that doesn't really help. Is it in the Caribbean? And she starts giggling. She's like, no, it's not in the Caribbean. It's in Eastern Europe. No one knows where Latvia is. Oh my goodness. You're just like me. And anyway, it turns out it's in Eastern Europe, right next to Russia. It's close to Azerbaijan. All right, Andrea. All right, now you're just showing off. That's geography, baby, right there. Amazing, right? Anyway, she's like, you have to come to Latvia. She was a lion, Josh. Josh knows what lions are. Arr, give me your lion paws, Josh. Come on.
Oh,
Come,
I don't know.
Come on. Yeah, that was weak. That was.
Yeah, I've never been the best at the lion paws.
Really? Even one, right? Josh was an original lion, and this lady was a lion too. She was an Eastern European lion, and she's like, you have to come to Riga, Latvia, right, to teach everybody how to sell. I'm like, everybody? She's like, no one in Latvia knows how to sell. And we were talking to all these entrepreneurs. It turned out to be in a major, okay, Atlanta's a former teacher. It's a former Soviet country. All right. Put your email in the chat pane and I'll send you a breakfast sandwich too. That's good, right? We're learning a little bit about everything. Your modern sales process. When I was there, we went around the room. We had a entrepreneur meeting like this. and we asked people to post their biggest challenge, right? And so, Josh, let's do one of the two things that we had prepared. And then if you have something that you're struggling with, you're thinking about all the time in the shower, or like your boss is obsessing with, or you're like, if I could only do this, just put it in the chat pane, and Josh and I will do a little freestyle, right? We'll ask the group. The amazing thing at Riga was when people would ask me, I felt like the Wizard of Oz. I'm like, okay, this is the way I would do it, like in the United States. But then the other forum, the other people in the forum would cycle in and say, the way I think about this, the way I think about this. So if you have something we call it bunching you up, something that you're obsessing about, something that you're like, okay, this is hard, right? Then put it in the chat pane, and we're happy to address it. All right.
Dan, Dan, can I circle back on one thing Katie said?
Yeah.
In her comment?
Sure.
When she was talking about content, she was talking about creating high quality, valuable content. I don't know if everyone's aware, but just a week ago, the 15th, Google started releasing a new core algorithm update that will roll out over several months. And that algorithm update was focused on prioritizing useful and helpful content to searchers, as opposed to content that is just there for the purpose of creating content. So Katie hit the nail on the head when she said that they focus on creating high quality content, because just content isn't going to do anything. It's that quality component of it that is going to drive actual results, especially, Google's been kind of trending in this direction historically. But with a recent update, knowing that there's a lot of AI generated content out there and a lot of fluff, major change.
Very important point. The thing is, a blog, it's not really, when people say content, all of a sudden you think expensive or fluffy or things like that. In my blog, if you go to dantyre.com, you'll see I have a blog series called The 3 Things That. And it's all the people that ask me, why do you order things, and what's the rule of 3? How do you start a public speaking career? What do you need to do X, Y, and Z? How do you find a job in 3 steps? Those kind of things. The people on this call answer those questions every day, right? And just by putting that out there, right? And then optimizing, and then Josh can show you how to do it. You can have people who are looking for you connect. And in 20 years of being a schmarketer, right? When I ask people, do you want to be found for people who are looking for your facility, looking for tool and die, looking for industrial manufacturing? No one's ever said no. That's a stupid idea. I don't want to get found by people, because that's the way we buy. That is one of the changes that we saw all the way back in 2007. Now this has been going on for 20 years. Right? And you've got to participate. This is the risk is that you don't start optimizing the website so that other people, that's the other question I asked. Well, if you don't optimize your website, where do you think the people who are looking for you go? And silence. People are on mute. And I'm like, no, where do you think they go? Right? And sooner or later, sometimes after 12 minutes of silence, they go to my competitor. I'm like, is that what you want to happen? They're like, no. Right. And this is an essential part, because we've already established that most people want to do the research first. In the old days, right, when I started my sales career, I kind of feel like your grandfather, like in 1980, right? You had to call a salesperson to understand if you could fit it in the back of your truck, if it came in purple, if you could lift it up the stairs. Now, all that has to be on your website. And if you have the call to action, we'll walk you through the website, or you have a little video that says, this is what our thing looks like. So Atlanta, they can see how clean it is and the commitment that you have. A little bit of a, what we call user generated content, right? This is my 4th, very strong thing that I would like, right? It's called the HubSpot flywheel. And the flywheel is, who knows what a flywheel is? You guys are all car people. You know what flywheels are. Put it in the chat pane. I'm dangling another breakfast sandwich, like a piece of bacon in front of a Cocker Spaniel, right? What's a flywheel? Come on, Tony. Come on, Sanjay. You know what a flywheel is. What is it? You can come off mute and get it without having to type.
Isn't that the gear image that talks about the customer life cycle? Is that what you're
That is? That's the HubSpot thing, but a regular flywheel, who knows what it is? There we go. Alex, send me an email at dantyre@gmail.com. I'll buy a $5 breakfast sandwich. It's on the back of an engine. It drives the pistons, right? And like a flywheel in the auto context is there's two parts. There's force and there's friction. Force is how fast it goes. You push and friction is sometimes you buy oil to like streamline it, right? It works the same thing with your customers, and you always put your customers in the front of the flywheel, because Atlanta, as great as you are giving those tours and as amazing it is, when your customers talk about you, you find a customer that you've worked with for 6 projects or 16 years, or Joe, somebody worked for you for 8 years. They will say things, right, that you would never say with so much more credibility, because they think, okay, you're a principal of the company. Okay, you have to say that, right? I don't have to say that, right? I was with HubSpot for 17 years. I'm their best reference. I've paid for HubSpot twice in my career. They offered me a free portal. I'm like, no, I want to pay for it because it's integral to the way we work, right? And I want to make sure that if anybody wants to understand why HubSpot technology is superior, I'm like, do you want a competitive advantage? Do you want to make those CTAs? Do you want to make sure that you have the landing pages so you can do it just like this? I am not the smartest tech tool in the shed, but I can do it all, right? And if I don't know how to do it, like I just ask the widget in the software and somebody from HubSpot will come. And so that user like stories, put in the chat pane if you have testimonials on your website, because this is number 5, right? We have the CTAs, we have multiple CTAs on every page. We have blog. Atlanta did a great job. Now the flywheel is the 5th, but the important deliverable on the flywheel is I want to hear from your customers. And put in the chat pane, yes, I have customer testimonials, no customer testimonials. Because, where was I last? Salt Lake City. I was in Salt Lake City and a guy came up and said, I love HubSpot. I'm like, great, let's get it on video. He's like, excuse me? I'm like, let's do a video. And I pull out my phone. I'm like, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I'm one take Tyre. 3 questions. Number 1, what's your name? He's like, Joe. I'm like, great. Where are we? He's like, Salt Lake City. I'm like, 3, what did you just tell me about HubSpot? And then he rants for like 90 seconds. I have that clip. I sent it to HubSpot, right? And I want something like that. Those 3 questions, right? Kim Watson, you talk to somebody and you say, all right, what's your name? Where are we located? Okay. What do you like about my manufacturing facility, right? And then ask her to sign the release and put it on your website. And it is amazing, right? Because first of all, she'll be a reference for you about why she works with you. That personal kind of thing is once removed, and it really makes a huge difference of building that trust. Josh, is that what you see as well?
Yeah, especially when it's very related to industries you want to work with. Like if someone in the ag industry comes to your website and sees a recognizable name on the site, or someone in the ag industry, and they're like, oh, they've already done work in this space, makes sense that I talk to them a little bit more.
Amazing. All right. Robert Silverman says testimonials on every page. How did you hack that out? How did you like figure that is important, Robert? Come off mute and tell us how you did that.
We were actually just rebuilding our website, and I needed to bring it to 2024 from 2010, I think was the last time I redid it. And the one thing that I know I like doing when I'm buying something is I read reviews on everything, whether it's a Google review or on a retailer's website on a particular product. And so I go down the rabbit holes with reviews, travel websites, everything, and thought that, you know, that probably makes a lot of sense to have some of that stuff on our site since we're rebuilding it. And as I was rebuilding it, I sent out an email to a lot of my really good customers that I have great relationships with, like, just, hey, would you guys mind, we're rebuilding our website, would you mind throwing out a paragraph or 2 that we could use on the site? And I got great responses, tons of testimonials. We used most of them. We had like 2 or 3 on each page of the website. I'm kicking myself in the butt, though, for not asking them to do it on Google and LinkedIn as well.
All right, there's still time, right?
Yeah.
You're like, there's plenty of time. And part of the flywheel is, and I feel like manufacturers and industrial companies do this very, very well. Put in the chat pane if you call your customers and thank them for the business. Yes, call, no call. And I'm not calling an email. I'm not calling it like a breakfast sandwich certificate from Starbucks. Do you pick up the phone and call your customers? Okay, Robert says yes. Amazing. Who else? Put in the chat pane. No call. Okay. And this is one of the Dan Tyreisms. There's a few of them that I talk about all over the world. The first is when you're trying to solve a problem, you start with the goals and work backwards. Right. I've been saying that now for 10 years. I don't know how we did it before that. If you don't know the goals, how you know if you're close or how you're measured, or it's impossible for an outside advisor to do it. Number two, if you need help, you raise your hand. Right. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength, because everything changes so quickly. You shouldn't have to know all about those CTAs, all about the blog stuff. Josh, Curcio, Curt will explain all of those kind of things. Right. And if they don't know, they'll point you in the right direction. Right. And we got some free stuff. You guys like free stuff? Put in the chat pane if you like free stuff. Clay, you like free stuff? You look like kind of, oh yeah, I got thumbs up from Clay. Kim Watson, free stuff. Yep. All right. Unbelievable. Woo, Tony. Okay. Now I know how to stoke this crowd, Josh. You should have told me. We should have called this the free stuff jam session. Right? Then we would have been freaking sold out. This is amazing. Okay. We'll give you some free stuff, right? From HubSpot and Tyre Angel. Happy to do it. Free jams. Okay. You are funny. Of course. Yes. The idea is if you need help, you just raise your hand and ask. And Josh, why do you like to help people so much? Why do you like giving away all this free information? Why do you do these webinars with Curt? Why do you speak like 20 times a year to industrial companies and manufacturing companies to help them grow?
I enjoy helping, doing it and being that resource. It feels good. And in the long term, some of it's going to turn into business. That's why I think everyone's here is they want to grow their business and drive leads. I'm very active on the HubSpot community, and it is one of our top lead sources, because all I'm doing is I'm offering free help, hoping to solve someone's solution. In turn, some of them contact me, and in turn, some of them are great customers.
Amazing. My mantra is to do the most good for the universe, right? The reason I super happy to cycle in, because I have a little bit of knowledge here and want to share it with folks who are providing employment in the United States, who are like the core of our economy is manufacturing, right? And there was this whole thing for 20 years about offshoring. Now, all I hear is onshoring. Now I hear everybody saying, no, we got to bring production back to the United States, which is amazing and exciting, right? And you're right in that wheelhouse, right? And so it's the greatest time to be a manufacturer, I think, in my lifetime, right? Because we have the technology now. We can understand and reduce errors. We can streamline more effectively, and just the size of the economy is ridiculous. Super exciting. And so in 2018, I wrote this book called The Inbound Organization. And after I invented the term schmarketing, you guys like that term or not? Schmarketing. I know, I'm obsessed. Okay, Curt gave me the thumbs up. What do you think, Clay? Yeah, I know. It's very controversial. Some people are like, okay, that's the dopiest thing I've ever heard. Some people are like, yeah, I'm a schmarketer. Right. Anyway, I wrote a book about the leadership principles that I learned at HubSpot and learned through the inbound revolution. And the first thing that is the part of the mantra of an inbound organization is you got to treat people like human beings. So put in the chat pane if you treat people like human beings. It's a little bit of a rhetorical question for this group, because I know you all do. Right. And like when we got the responses for the walkthroughs and helping and all that kind of stuff, treating people like human beings. Like I feel a little sheepish that I have to remind people in 2024 that that's a important like component, but just check out my Twitter thread and you'll see that it's a good reminder that for the modern era. Number two is exactly what Josh said, right? We always help before we try to sell, right? And I know a lot of industrial manufacturers, people feel that way, but suggestion number 6 is have a freemium offering on your website, and put in the chat pane if you have something that you give away for free in exchange for somebody's contact information on your website. Yes, freemium, no freemium. And Josh, give me 5 or 6 things that somebody could develop in an afternoon that would be a good freemium giveaway.
Checklist.
Of what?
of something that their customers need.
Yes, a planning doc, right? How planning for 2025, manufacturing, lead time kind of things, which you answer all the time. Give me another example.
Consultation with an engineer.
Boom, you just said that. How about a webinar where we get 3 or 4 people who are planning just in the educational stage, and you just do what we're doing now. Just have this conversation about how to plan for increase or even decrease manufacturing production in 2024. Just talk about nearshoring. Just talk about constriction of supply chain, secondary resource, all the things that you guys deal with all the time. You think everybody knows that? No one knows it. Right. And so a webinar is a good one. What's another one, Josh?
You know, what was interesting, we found this a while back. We had a manufacturing company that wanted to target specifically engineers, and we launched a premium downloadable, and I think we started calling it like an education guide or something. What we found in talking to our customers is engineers sometimes think that they know everything already. So an engineering guide may not be that enticing. So we took the same offer and changed that to a quick reference guide. And the rate of download, the conversion rate, skyrocketed. Just because simply, like, instead of trying to educate them, we're saying, this is something you can use to save yourself time.
Free reference guide. I love it. And just by changing the name, that's amazing. Sanjay, do you have a freemium? Put in the chat page if you have a freemium. Sanjay has a great company that helps with managing payables, right? In South Bend, Indiana. Works a lot. You work a lot with manufacturing, right? Isn't that one of your core verticals?
Yeah, it is.
And what, do you have a freemium offer on your website?
We, on our old website, we did. On our new one, we haven't, but it was similar. Actually learned it from HubSpot, the website grader, but we had a similar thing as we do. Everyone likes to kind of see how they stack up against their peers. So ours was just kind of how you grade your current accounts payable process. A lot of manufacturers are doing it very manual, but want to automate it. They're really excited about automating the front end to produce more units, but then on the back end in the office, they just do things manually.
Amazing, right? And I love the reference guide thing. Okay, here's our first free offer. Sanjay just mentioned the HubSpot website grader. This is free. If you want to understand how your website stacks up, just go there, put in your website, put in your email, and HubSpot has graded 4 million websites. They provide it at no charge. It's amazing, right? And it will give you some idea. You don't have to, like, it will give you some, point out some of the potholes, and then you can just hand it to your website or hand it to Josh or whatever and say, okay, fix these, right? And it will help you generate more qualified leads and customers. All right, so that freemium offer is very, very important for a couple of reasons, right? You want to show people that you've got the big heart that we know you have. You want to make sure that you are not asking them to get married on the first date, right? You want to have multiple types of calls to action. There's beginning of the funnel, there's middle of the funnel, there's end of the funnel, and you have to cover all of those to make it work. All right, so now we have freemium, and I was talking about the 6 things for being an inbound organization. 1, be human. 2, make sure that you're helping, not selling. 3, the riches are in the niches. And Josh, you were talking about your vertical markets. Explain why 2024 having a very defined vertical market is critically important.
There's a lot of noise out there. There's more competition, more noise online. People want to work with organizations that work within the same space. I mean, we see it here as a manufacturer, as a marketer. Manufacturers like to work with us because we work with manufacturers. We understand the industry. I mentioned it earlier in the reference to the ag space. If you are familiar with how things operate, with the terminology, with the requirements of, you know, whatever, aerospace, automotive, pharmaceuticals, whatever, the riches are in the niches. I love that, Dan, because it's so relevant and it helps you stand out, helps you be competitive online. And like I said, it adds value to those sales conversations in that relationship.
Amazing. I didn't invent that. I wish I did. I've said it 10 million times though. And if you're from London, any international attendees here? I think we're pretty focused on the United States. If you want to go to the beaches, you have to work the niches because that's the pronunciation over in the UK. I know. All right. So free stuff number 2, right? We'll give you 3 free kind of things because we're talking about that. And that is ties into the long tail keyword. Ooh, Sanjay, paying attention. I like that. Very, very good. Free stuff number 2 is HubSpot Academy. Josh, explain what HubSpot Academy is.
It is a library of free educational resources, video led. But if you don't like to watch videos, there's also transcripts and downloadables of everything, certification programs for manufacturers. I love to recommend my 2 favorite inbound sales and frictionless sales are the 2 of my favorite certification programs for manufacturing companies.
Amazing.
Sales teams could use that help.
All right, Curt, can you come off mute and explain what you just put in the chat pane? Because it's very...
Dan, we do these jam sessions every month, and anybody that comes to our, I don't know, Kim and some of our folks that show up, Joe Roy, Julie Warner, they hear this line from me over and over and over: niche down till it hurts, man. It hurts to turn away business, or it hurts to like stay in our lane. But the more that you stay focused and really exhaust your superpowers, and in the other line that we use constantly, Dan, that I love that you're saying is we talk about how do you out teach the competition. And so Josh and I do a lot of programs together, and just being, just fiercely dedicated to being that over the top educator. Great way to build trust. Like I think somebody mentioned that earlier. And again, niche down till it hurts. And so those are 2 taglines that people hear frequently. And while I have the mic real quick, I just want to give out a shout out to some of our sponsors today. So we've got the University of Nebraska MEP is here, Joe Roy. We've got Purdue, wonderful. We've got the Big Ten represented today. So the MEP network, if you're a manufacturer, you haven't connected with your local MEP manufacturing extension partnership, I strongly encourage you, Joe and Julie, if you guys want to drop your LinkedIn or drop your websites. And again, if you guys came in late, and if you haven't done so already, please drop your website, drop your LinkedIn. Great opportunity to connect with everyone, connect with Dan, connect with Josh. And Dan, take it away, man. Thank you.
Amazing. Where did you learn how to niche down till it hurts? That's it's not traditional kind of stuff. Okay, awesome. Yeah, very good. And you can always be opportunistic, right? If somebody comes and says, no, I have a rush job, or I really need help, like you can take that business. But if you're going outbound, and the way to grow and grow more quickly than the industry average is to do exactly what Curt said. You find that niche, right? If you're selling barber supplies, you find barber shops in Arizona that have at least 3 chairs. And if as long as there's 100 people that are doing that, you will get 20%, because when you talk with them, you're like, no, I only talk. If you have 2 chairs, I won't talk with you. If you have 3 chairs, I'm ready to go. Right. The most successful surgeon in the United States is Tiger Woods' knee surgeon. He only has 1 customer, right? And that's Tiger Woods, right? That's the ultimate niche. And you can use that, Curt. My buddy Greg had invented that.
So I call it the right knee guy. So we're right on the same line. And so
oh my goodness.
We call it, so I use that line all the time. So I have a book myself, and I actually have a line like that. So, but with that being said, Dan, I give a shout out to Josh and the team at Protocol 80. So I've been with these guys since 2013, and I can say these guys niche down till it hurts. And I watched them do it.
I know.
And what they did is they were, broad marketer, did a little, we're all starving for business. Hey, let's do a website. Hey, let's do pay-per-click. Let's do this. Let's do this. And Josh, if I'm not mistaken, around 2016, you guys like, hey, Curt, there's this company called HubSpot, and we're going all in on HubSpot. So do I have that story correct?
Yeah, I think it was 2015.
Was it 15? Okay.
2015. Yep. We took the leap to HubSpot and decided we're going to be the marketing company, inbound marketing agency for manufacturers, and do the things that they either don't want to do themselves or can't do themselves.
Amazing. All right, so let's review all of our specifics that we've talked about. CTAs, we talked about multiple CTAs on every page. That's number 2. The blog content where it's read back to you, or you're developing it and Josh can help there. That's number 3. Number 4 is the HubSpot flywheel, right? That includes testimonials That's like 4A and 4B. I want to make sure you have good testimonials and they're simple. What is your name? Where are you? Where are we standing? And what did you just tell me about our manufacturing facility? Then the sixth one is the freemium offer. Let's make sure that when's the next time you're doing a program, Curt? Can you make everybody show their freemium offer next time?
Next month, we'll have one
Okay.
coming up at the end of September.
All
So
right.
yeah, a little homework assignment. I love it, Dan.
Don't come back until you have a freemium offer. And if you need a freemium offer, you can't figure it out, you can talk with Josh, you can talk with me. It's not that hard, right? It's what you do all the time. We're just going to move the great big-hearted, empathetic kind of way that you talk with your prospects and customers online, right? Because we're all agreeing that in 2024, 85%, it actually ranges from 69% in some industries to 99%, right? When my wife is buying certain things, even like curated stuff, she wants to do everything online. She wants to talk to the salesperson only to understand availability and get a discount, right? And like, it just depends. And so she does all the research. She reads every single review, which is amazing. And she wants to see that idea and information. And she's an expert at like trying to like verify whether it's real or not, things like that. And that's very, very important, right, for selling in the 21st century. All right, so now, and I put three free things in there, Josh. Number one, I put the website grader, which it takes 90 seconds, so use that. Number two is HubSpot Academy. Have any questions on that, ask Josh, right? I think, Josh, aren't you in one or two of those lessons? Didn't we tap you?
Yeah, I got to go and awkwardly be on camera. Like the camera was like right here in my face. So it was one of the most awkward things I've ever done.
Welcome to my world. And then number three, HubSpot has information for manufacturers that is a plethora of all the things that we're talking about. And we're happy to help all American businesses scale. If I could be of service, right, at dantyre.com, you can find my blog. I speak all over the world. I'm going to be in St. Louis in October. I'm going to be back in Flagstaff, Arizona. Anybody ever been to Flagstaff, Arizona? You have, Curt. What were you doing in Flagstaff, Arizona?
My wife and I were there 100 years ago. So my mother-in-law, who's visiting right now, she lives down in Phoenix. And so we snuck up to Flagstaff. So yeah,
Amazing.
beautiful, beautiful area.
All right, here's the seventh tip, concrete tip that you might be able to earn $20 on. Flagstaff, Arizona, 2 hours from Phoenix, is the 10th city in the United States for snowfall, right? Not Alaska, not someplace in Iowa, not someplace in northern Michigan, Flagstaff, Arizona, because it's way up in the mountains, as Curt can verify, and it smells great and it's good and gets a lot of snow.
Well, Dan, I live near Buffalo, so I'm probably right there with Flagstaff. So that's
my goodness.
We probably rival on snowfall. So
I'm in East Aurora on Tuesday of next week.
East Aurora is a cool.
Oh,
cool
dude,
town.
I'm just south of you. So
amazing,
that's,
amazing.
Yeah.
My wife, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, Paradise Valley. It's my primary residence, and turns out after living there for 25 years. I actually spent the summer there because I'm on the road all the time and I work for HubSpot, a Cambridge-based company. So I was always on the road. And in the global pandemic, I couldn't go anywhere. So I'm like, it's hot here. My wife's like, yeah, is that a surprise to you? I'm like, yeah, I probably should have thought that through. So now we don't spend the summer in Phoenix, Arizona. And this year we're on the East Coast. And so my beautiful wife is like, okay, you got one job. I'm like, what's that? She's like, you got to get the dog across the United States. I'm like, the dog across the United States. And put in the chat pane how you get a dog across the United States. You can walk with it, but it takes 5 years. That's never going to work. Any other ideas from the manufacturing folks? I know you're not really transportation people, but I bet you there's some logistics folks. Oh, Robert Silverman, Durango, drive them. They're the best co-pilots. All right. So that's funny, Robert. Have you ever heard of Bark Air? Bark Air. No? Okay. Bark Air is a private jet. You've heard of Bark Air, Curt? It's a private jet.
Just launched like 2 months ago, right?
It did. It's a private jet for dogs, right? What do you think it costs to send a dog from LA to Boston?
Was
Right?
it like
Far too
$3,000 or something, isn't it?
Okay, put it in the chat pane. There's a breakfast sandwich writing on this. I don't think anybody's going to get it, right? This company it's a private jet for dogs, which is just flat out 2024, right? Tony says 4K. Come on, Joe. Come on, Sanjay. Come on, Tony. Oh, Tony, our guest. Come on, Clay. $1,200, $12,000, Joe. Oh, Joe, did you Google it? Right. It's actually $20,000 round trip, right? 20,000. We're in the wrong business. What are we doing manufacturing and industrial kind of thing when you can fly a dog across the United States round trip? And I'm kind of yelling at the lady. I'm like, 20 grand? Do I look like somebody's 20 grand? She's like, hey man, you called me. I'm like, okay. And she's like super nice. And she's like, when do you need to be, get the dog there? I'm like, next week. She's like, we're sold out until October. Bark Air. Look at it. It's a great kind of thing. Anyway, the third way is to drive them. So Stinson, I should have a picture of Stinson in my backlog. And I drove across the United States. Now we got to drive back, right? So I'm going to be in Buffalo, East Aurora next Tuesday. And so I know Kim Watson is going, niche. Kim, all right. Send me an email, dantyre@gmail.com, and say, I'm the niche lady. I'll send you a breakfast sandwich. Actually, my assistant Kara will do it, right? But this was so much fun. Oh my goodness. Josh and Curt, thanks so much for having me, and the sponsors for putting on this program.
Thank you, Dan. What a gift, man. So first off, I want to give a big shout out and a huge thank you for everybody that showed up today. So thank you, Sanjay, Jamie, Robert, Kim. My friend Kim was here, Tony, all you guys. Thank you for taking time. No, Robert, thank you for your comments. Know how busy you guys are just making, producing, manufacturing wonderful products. You guys are truly the heartbeat of our economy. We thank you. We salute you. We applaud you. Big shout out. Thanks to our MEPs. But how about if you guys been sitting down, hanging out for the past 50 whatever minutes, how about we stand up, give a big stretch and a big round of applause, a standing ovation for Dan Tyre and Josh Curcio for absolutely crushing it. Plus, now we all know where Latvia is. So, Dan, thank you, dude. This meant the world to us. We appreciate you. Guys, I'm going to have this on replay. We're going to be sending this out on replay. We're going to be putting it out on social. Any last questions before we wind down? Anything? And how about, hey, and please connect with my dear friend Josh Curcio, the team at Protocol 80. We've been tag teaming and working with clients since 2013. These guys are absolutely amazing. We just so Josh, Dan, you're gonna love this. I'm a huge live stream guy. Anybody that's gonna listen, that's like when you're talking about content and everything you're talking about, I'm begging manufacturers to start live streaming. We did a live stream on Monday with Josh's team, and I'm experimenting with keywords. I put SEO success strategies in the headline on our LinkedIn Live from Monday. Within 24 hours, if everybody do a Google search for SEO success strategies, and you're going to see a goofy bald guy come up. So I'm encouraging you guys, video, live streaming, HubSpot. These are Josh Curcio, Protocol 80. Great ways to start crushing SEO. So Josh, tell Holly that she's doing amazing work. I appreciate her. Anything else in the comments here?
Here's some upcoming content. Jamie just said we probably don't have time to address, but we operate in a little bit different world, grocery products, the consumer world, and B2C is a little bit different, right? But we have a lot of people who leverage inbound because you can get directly to the customer. The one that comes to mind is Giant Strawberries. Familiar with Giant Strawberries, who publish all of these strawberry recipes on their websites. They have a YouTube channel where a guy's dressed up in strawberry, like a strawberry, a fuzzy strawberry. And there's amazing ways to drive activity around your product and then measure it through retail or out of home in ways that can tie you more closely to the customer.
Another niche, Dan, right? Another great niche.
Robert had a question about budgets, working with small budgets. Manufacturers usually don't have budgets. That's what we see. Zero budgets whatsoever. I guess my piece of advice there would be to start working away at it, chipping away at it, creating content, creating that helpful information. I would recommend creating the original content yourself, but if you're not a great writer, using some of those AI tools that were mentioned earlier to help revise it and make it improve from a spelling, grammar, structure perspective. But that's what I would start with.
That's a good one, Josh. The way I look at it is start with the goals and work backwards. If you can generate an extra $400,000 worth of revenue through your website in the next 12 months, right, then you should be willing to commit to at least 10 grand, right? Anybody on this call is going to get a 10x response. Are you kidding me? And we can prove it, right? Josh will show you all the attributions. What are some of those blog articles we were talking about? Some of those freemium content will generate hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of business. And once you see that, right, you think you have to do it because everybody's doing it. No, we're not doing all this like jumping up and down, ranting and raving just so that we can look pretty. We want more qualified opportunities. We want more customers. And in the old days, it was the salespeople got all the glory. Now it's the schmarketers who are leveraging online to really make the difference.
Drop the mic, Dan. Drop the mic. So guys, as we wrap up, please connect with Dan on LinkedIn. As you can tell, just what a dynamic speaker, what a passionate entrepreneur. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your expertise, Dan. This is just such a what a treasure you are, man. Josh, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to share your inspiration, your passion, your experience. Guys, any other last questions before we close out? One more last round of applause for Dan the man. How about that? One more round of applause. Josh Curcio. Thank you, Josh. Protocol 80. Guys, let's all connect on LinkedIn. Keep spreading that energy, the love. Keep manufacturing. How about, Dan, Josh, should we get a little made in USA? Should we get a little USA chant going? How about a little USA? 1, 2, 3. Ready? USA. USA. So there we go. All right. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us today. Again, any questions, contact Dan, contact Josh, reach out to me, reach out to your local MEP, and we just wish you guys massive success. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate you, man. That was awesome. Gosh, that was so good. All right. I'm going to stop recording.